Within the VR MMORPG game of Ark Earth Online, there are no limits on what is possible. There are also no rules or instructions, and player progression is based solely on effort, intelligence, and experimentation. 27-year-old Sakyamoto Kagami has spent years progressing relentlessly with his character and is now one of the 9 wise men, the most powerful sorcerers in the Architect Kingdom. One day, his close friend, King Solomon of Architect, whom he helped create the Architect Kingdom with years before, sends him on a mission to destroy an army of 10,000 monsters. With his power to summon his own massive army, including a dragon, Danwolf destroys the monsters and returns victorious. Several days later, the entire in-game universe is shocked to discover Danwolf has disappeared, never to be seen again, leaving Archive in complete turmoil. A young girl with silver hair and blue eyes awakens in the wilderness and makes her way to Archive. Upon seeing her reflection, she is shocked to find that she is cute. The girl turns out to be Danwolf and explains to Solomon that he had been experimenting with changing his appearance with a vanity case but fell asleep before deleting the changes, so now he's a young girl until he can obtain another case. Solomon reveals the game underwent a massive reality update. Danwolf has somehow been gone for 30 years, and the only other wise man remaining is Luminaria, who reappeared 20 years ago. Solomon has protected Archive through many wars, and even though the industrial era now has technology, including motorized vehicles, returning to his home, Danwolf meets his assistant, Marianne, a fairy NPC, and finds the reality update has given all NPCs real personalities. As such, Danwolf is forced to claim he is Mira Dunbar's pupil, sent to replace Danwolf, who is staying in a foreign country. Mira meets Solomon's advisors and military leaders and, to prove she is suitable for replacement for Danwolf, destroys a small monster army. The advisors suspect the monsters are being controlled by demons for an unknown purpose. That, plus unrest with other kingdoms, worries Solomon. Yet, with Danwolf's return, he finds he is finally having fun again. Solomon reveals, 20 years after Dunbar disappeared, a war broke out between humans and demons. After the humans triumphed, they signed a pact to ban war for 10 years, but this came to an end in 1 year. Archive needs the 9 wise men again, but the other 7 are still missing despite Solomon's friend list proving they are still inside the game. Thus, he orders Mira to find them before the pact expires. Mira suggests looking in Niverpulus catacombs for Solhowl, the necromancer. Mira meets a young boy named Tact who wants to go to Niverpulus to see his parents in a mirror that contacts the dead. Several NPC adventurers also volunteer: Amala, Seth, Asval, and Flicker. Within Niverpulus, Seth sees his dead sister in the mirror, Lyrica, who died of illness, and assures him her death was not his fault. Mira realizes she must reconsider her thoughts on NPCs, who are much more human than she is used to. Tact cannot see his parents, suggesting they might not be dead. On Solomon's request, Mira tries to contact Howard, a dead NPC expert on demons, to ask about their recent activities concerning the monsters. Howard does not appear in the mirror, but as Howard was a known demon expert, Omello reveals demons have been sighted in several other kingdoms, not just Archive. Mira leads everyone to the catacomb's 6th floor to a large castle, which only she knows how to enter, asking everyone else to wait outside. Reaching Solhowl's throne room, it is revealed Solhowl is a hopeless loser obsessed with death, as Mira discovers hundreds of lifeless maids and a girl who is still slightly alive. Finding Solhowl's laboratory, Mira realizes Solhowl froze the girl in time so he could locate the Holy Grail of Heavenly Light to save her life. A demon suddenly attacks, which Mira fights alone. For a second, the adventurers think that Mira resembles Danwolf but reject this as silly. With a mixture of magic and her immortal arts fighting style, Mira defeats the demon, revealing to the adventurers she is Danwolf's pupil, which they easily believe. Mira realizes they can no longer qualify as just NPCs, as they have childhood memories and even parents. To this end, she decides she must keep the kingdom safe for everyone. Returning to the surface, they find an army of monsters attacking the city. Mira summons her Valkyrie warriors to defeat the monsters. Tak decides to become a summoner like Mira. The adventurer's boss, Captain Cyril, thanks Mira for her help. Mira divides up all the looted treasure, and, to his surprise, Cyril is able to lift the heavy weapon of the demon from the catacombs. Mira sends Tak to the guild to see if he has summoning potential, then retrieves a clue sent by Solomon for some of the other wise men. Tak has sorcerer, priest, and diviner potential but no summoner potential. Mira, determined, Cyril is also a player, not an NPC, and he comes close to guessing Mira is Dunbath. So, Mira claims she and Dunball were friends in real life. Cyril explains when he woke up in the game, he tried to find a way home. Along the way, he befriended NPCs, eradicated goblins harassing their village, and made improvements to their farming and taught them self-defense before rejoining his friends. He asks Mira to join the guild, but she declines due to the importance of her mission. So, instead, he offers to look into Solomon's latest clue. Mira returns home wearing her Dunbald robes, only to learn from Miriana replicas of the robe are popular as costumes with children, causing Mira to furiously realize she looks like a child playing dress-up. Mira recalls that while returning home, she came across a cat Shikigami named Nyamru. A wind spirit appears and explains they were attacked by humans, but she has no idea where Nyamru's master is. Handing over Solhall's research to Solomon's chief researcher, Solomon, Mira relates everything that happened. She is concerned about attacks on spirits and Janru, whose name suggests he belongs to Wiseman Kagura, a user of divining magic. Solomon is aware of a group, Chimera Clausen, who captures spirits. Sullivan learns from Solhall's paperwork that the Holy Grail of Heavenly Light is actually a craftable item requiring rare ingredients. So, he sends Mira to research them in the Fool's Wonder Maker, a labyrinth full of books and materials. To enter the correct floor requires ore from a certain mine, so Garrett and his team borrow one of Myra's Dark Knights as a guard while they collect the ore. While mining, they're attacked by a legendary monster that defeats the knight. They are abruptly rescued by a young girl who defeats the bear using similar moves to Myra's immortal arts but leaves without revealing her name. Based on her description, Mira suggests she was Wiseman Mellon, an airhead obsessed with martial arts. With the ore, Mira sets off for the labyrinth. Mira enters Archive Academy, built over the labyrinth's entrance, and is mistaken for a prospective student by Hinata, a teacher of summoning magic like Mira. But the subject is so unpopular she has no students. Outraged, Mira agrees to represent the Summoning Skills Department at the Mage Arts Symposium, where performing well can earn prizes such as increases in funding and potentially attract students wishing to learn. Hinata comes in last place every year and is frequently mocked by Karis Burling of the Sorcery Department. After watching all the other departments, Mira summons Letitia, a winged spirit who uses song magic for both healing and attack. Chris challenges her to a duel, refusing to believe a little girl could be so powerful, but he loses instantly when Mira summons a literal army of Dark Knights. The summoning department is declared victor. Master Cleos, the current master of summoning magic, meets Mira privately for a summoning duel and loses, which he takes as confirmation Mira is the returned Danboth. He agrees to keep this a secret and gets the headmaster's permission to enter the labyrinth, even bringing Hinata with them so she can watch how expert summoners fight in combat. Hinata summons some of her own creatures to fight the labyrinth's monster guard so she can get advice from Mira and Cleos on improving them. Using the ore, they enter the right level, but to reach the right bookshelf, they must get past the door with a spirit inscription they must decipher, as spirit language is indecipherable. Mira summons Pam, a kind-like rainbow spirit with all knowledge from history. With the puzzle solved, they find the books they need and begin making copies. Unfortunately, while looking for a fun story, and removes a book from its shelf, triggering security golems and forcing them to flee. Luckily, with all the information Mira needed. Now that Cleos knows Myra's secret and since her next mission might last weeks, Solomon suggests she tell the truth to the important people in her life. She summons her most powerful creature, the dragon Einsfold, who considers Dunbolf his father but happily accepts Mira as his mother. Next, she returns home and, after some procrastination, guiltily tells her maid, Mariana, that she's not Dunbolf's pupil but Dunbolf himself. Mariana is overjoyed, as she had missed Dunbolf terribly, and decides she and Mira will become closer than she ever was with Dunbath, including sharing Myra's bed and sharing stories together. Solomon sends Mira to Child of Prayer Forest, where a tree root ingredient for the Grail is located, hoping for evidence of Soul Howl. Additionally, he asks Mira to visit the nearby Primal Forest for useful ingredients. Mira stops at an old fort and notices a butler, Tomoki, who can move at extraordinary speeds. The soldier Rotary reveals they are constantly under attack from a giant monster that has caused mass casualties. One patient, Melissa, Mira diagnoses as poisoned by a toxin not found on this continent. Mira cures Melissa. The soldiers are so impressed they volunteer to help Mira hunt the monster. Mira lures the monster, a tyrant Spikeback gorilla, into a trap. With Myra's help, the soldiers defeat Spikeback. Myra's summoning magic is hailed as incredible. Mira learns Tomoki is also a player, though his skills are crafting, not combat-based. Tomoki believes the monsters could have only left their habitats with human assistance. Mira reaches the necessary tree.